Okay, what about infidelity? Are cohabitating or couples that live together prior to getting married more susceptible to unfaithfulness in their marriages?
The studies have clearly shown that that fidelity is much higher with married people who did not cohabit. One of the studies showed that married women who had never cohabited were 90% faithful and had never had another marital partner, compared to women who cohabited who were 60% faithful. Men also were about 90% faithful who had only been married and without cohabitation, compared to cohabitating men who were 43% faithful. Another study in 2000 showed that differences between married faithfulness and cohabitating faithfulness is 94% versus 75%.
Okay.
An interesting 1996 study showed that cohabitating women were 5 times more likely to be unfaithful than married women than married women. They were even less faithful than dating women.
Now, what do you feel are the reasons behind this, or did your research speak to the reasons behind why unfaithfulness is higher with couples that live together prior to marriage versus those that didn't?
I would say that the mindset from the very start of cohabitation versus marriage sets the stage. The mindset for cohabitation is, if this doesn't work, then I'm out of here. And so the cohabitating person lives with the mindset almost like 1 foot out the door, and you're always protecting yourself. You're always looking out for yourself and for your own self-interest. Mm-hmm. The mindset with a married person without any previous cohabitation is that I'm yours. I give my heart completely to you. Through thick or thin, through better or for worse, through sickness and health, I'm with you, and we're going to work this out. And I give myself completely to you. And so, if you protect your marriage, if you protect your heart, then the setup is for faithfulness.
You talked about the mindset of a cohabitating individual being, okay, if this doesn't, work or out the way that I think it should work out, then you kind of have an out. How does that relate to overall relationship satisfaction within a relationship, and where 2 people are living together, but they're not married? Are they more satisfied than couples that lived apart before marriage, or before? Are they more satisfied than married couples in their relationship?
There's studies that show that general satisfaction rate. A very scholarly journal called The Family Process in June of 2008 showed that couples who cohabit before marriage are less satisfied than those who waited to be married first. But there's also a lot more detail, a breakdown that we'll probably be talking about regarding the nature of that dissatisfaction. Just like infidelity is an aspect of dissatisfaction.
Well, let's talk about that. Why are married couples more satisfied than unmarried couples?
Well, there's a whole host of specific studies from general health to infant mortality, low birth weight, alcoholism, depression and anxiety, domestic violence. Almost on every one of these factors, the satisfaction rate and stability for married couples is far higher than for cohabitating couples. Even some things that seem to look good, like the higher income of cohabitating women, has a dark side to it. Mm-hmm. The idea seems to be that because cohabitating men are almost exclusively underemployed, the cohabitating woman needs to feel some kind of sense of security. So she decides, I better stick with my job. I need to make sure the income is here, because she knows she can't rely too particularly well on her live-in boyfriend. Also, both cohabitating men and cohabitating women, even the women with higher incomes, their history of job stability is quite a bit less than compared with married couples.
Okay. The research that you've shared doesn't seem to support the ball and chain wife theory or idea about marriage. The research doesn't support that. Why is it that society views marriage as bondage?
I would say that there's the difference is in how you view marriage. You have a wife who's a ball and chain if you are not able to go bowling as often as you want, or to stay out at your guy's friend's house doing your own thing. And so there are restrictions, of course, that happen with marriage, but the restrictions have to do with any responsibility has restrictions. If you have a responsibility of a job, it doesn't mean that the job is bad because it has restrictions. But any kind of responsibility that has some maturity to it has some limitations. They're just consequences for committing to almost anything. If you commit to a volunteer job, you've got some restrictions on your time. So the ball and chain kind of idea has to do with if you still have that natural tendency that human beings have of we want to have things our way. That's just the way we're born, and that tendency to only want what you want disappears when you're falling in love and you're crazy in love and you give yourself completely to the other person. That feels really, really wonderful. And so couples say, well, this feels great, let's do this together. I mean, forever, let's get married. Okay, and so they get married, but we're still natural human beings, and our tendency, if we're not careful, is we'll still get back to our old way of wanting our own way. Let's go do what I want to do when we're on our weekly date, or let's watch the TV show that I want to watch rather than what you want to watch. But a couple with a good view of marriage, or a healthy one, fights that natural tendency. So while it's natural to have bad breath, you still fight it by brushing your teeth. While it's natural to get dirty, you fight it by taking a bath. So it's natural for us to get selfish and self-centered in marriage, but we fight against that by guarding our relationship.